Visual pathway. We all know that eyeball acts as a camera where retina perceives the image as in reel or film of camera and relays the sensation to the brain, or to be specific, visual cortex, part of the occipital cortex, where visual cortex play role in formation of image as developed photograph. So the path of conduction of visual impulse from retina, that is perception, to the visual cortex, that is formation of image, is the visual pathway. And just like path or roads can have holes or pits in the way, similarly the visual pathway can have lesions which cause visual field defects leading to blindness or anopia in that particular region. That we'll talk about in our next video. For now, proceed with visual pathway, that consists of series of cells and synapses that carry visual information from the environment to the brain for processing. So till now we know that for image formation we have retina as initiation point and visual cortex is the final. So the distance between these two have some stops which helps to transfer these information. So here is those stops that includes the retina, optic nerve, optic chiasm, optic tract, lateral geniculate nucleus, optic radiation, and visual cortex. This lecture revolves around anatomy of these components and arrangement of visual fibers within each structure. The first cell in the pathway, a special sensory cell, the photoreceptor, converts light energy into neuronal signal that is passed to the bipolar cell and the amacrine cell, and then to the ganglion cell, and the axons of ganglion cell exit the retina via the optic nerve. So we ended up here at the optic nerve, which emerges from the back of the eyeball from nasal aspect, and from orbit they come out through optic canal and move backwards and medially towards each other and come to the cranial cavity, where they fuse together to make a structure called optic chiasm. And from optic chiasm fibers moves backwards laterally. So initially towards optic chiasm fibers move backward medially, and then from optic chiasm moves backwards laterally. Now before moving ahead, look at this structure present here called midbrain. On the sides of a midbrain there is a structure called thalamus, and on the sides of a thalamus there is lateral geniculate body. Now back to this optic chiasma, the structure which is taking information from here backwards to the lateral geniculate body is called optic tract. Optic tract ends up posteriorly mainly into the lateral geniculate body, but some fibers moves towards midbrain before optic tract reaches lateral geniculate body. 90% of optic tract come to lateral geniculate body, and about 10% fibers diverts to the midbrain. Then from lateral geniculate body, fibers are going backwards and they are taking information to the visual cortex. And in visual cortex, some fibers go as an upper bundle and some as lower bundle from lateral geniculate body. And these bundles are now known as optic radiations. From lateral geniculate body, there is an upper pathway which moves backwards through parietal lobe, and there is a lower pathway which moves forwards and laterally in the temporal lobe, and then moves backwards and medially to the occipital lobe where visual cortex is located. The visual cortex in the posterior part of the occipital lobe divided into two parts, upper and lower, by calcarine fissure. This calcarine fissure has some grey matter above it and some grey matter below it. The grey matter which is above called upper bank and grey matter which is below called lower bank. The upper fibers coming from lateral geniculate body ending up to the upper bank of calcarine fissure, and lower fiber ending in lower bank of calcarine fissure. Let's have a recap till now. You know there is retinal layers in eyeball and their photoreceptor cells connected with bipolar cells, and bipolar cells are connected to ganglion cells, and processes of ganglion cells converge to the area called optic disc. Then these fibers will move backwards medially as optic nerve, and optic nerve extends from back of the eye up to the optic chiasma, and from optic chiasma these fibers diverge and move backwards and laterally as optic tracts. Optic tracts move backwards and about 10% goes to the midbrain, and rest 90% optic tract fibers terminate into the lateral geniculate body. Then from lateral geniculate body, these fibers become optic radiation, and they are divided into two anatomical structures. Some fibers are moving as an upper band optic radiation which move upward into parietal lobe and then into occipital lobe. And the lower fibers move laterally slightly forward loop into temporal lobe, then passed through lower part of the parietal lobe and ended up into lower bank of calcarine fissure of occipital lobe. And this was about the anatomical structure involved in the visual pathway. Now we'll see how fibers are arranged in these structures, but before that we should have some knowledge about visual field. To understand that, have you ever noticed that when we are looking at anything around us, our eyes pick up different visual fields? Or if I say it technically, with the eye looking straight ahead and fixating on an object, the individual is able to detect other objects around the point of regard. Although the details may not be so clear, this entire visible area is termed as visual field. So the visual field which can be seen with one eye is monocular, and if it includes visual area of both eyes called binocular visual field. Why is this important to know about visual field? Because information from the visual field is taken in by the retina and processed through the visual pathway, and if any damage occurs in this pathway leads to the visual field defect, and knowledge of the fiber patterns in the pathway can help to identify the location of the lesion on the basis of the resultant visual field defect. Now suppose these two areas are representing your visual field. This is right eye's visual field and this is left eye's visual field. And this whole visual field area can be divided into different components on the basis of location and direction. So the field towards temple is temporal visual field, which is towards nose is nasal visual field, towards rooftop is superior visual field, towards floor is inferior visual field, and then there is central and peripheral visual field. To make it easy to understand fibers pathway, we are going to consider this nasal field as left visual field and this temporal field is as right visual field of right eye. And in the same way goes for the left eye, that left and right visual field of the left eye. Now also have a look here at the eye, in which the part of the retina closest to temple, we are going to call this part of the retina temporal hemiretina, and on the sides of which is close to the nose, we'll call it nasal hemiretina. Now what I'm going to tell you is something weird, that the vision is crossed sensation. What does it mean? Let me tell you that this temporal hemiretina is receiving light rays from left visual field. I'm repeating it, that left visual field hit the temporal part of the retina and nasal hemiretina receiving light rays from right visual field, or this right visual field hit the nasal part of the retina. So make it clear that left visual field has temporal hemiretina, right visual field has nasal hemiretina. Then another thing which is very important to understand, that the same way inferior visual field project on the superior retina and superior visual field falls on the inferior retina. Now from all of this, one thing that you need to remember, that anything comes from right goes to left and anything from left goes to the right. See the right eyeball and the temporal hemiretina receiving visual field from left, and anything comes from left goes to the right. So these fibers, when moved backwards through optic nerve and optic chiasma, stays on the same side, that is to the right side. Now nasal hemiretina, which is receiving light rays from right visual field, and anything from right goes to the left. These fibers coming from left nasal retina going backwards through optic nerve crosses at the optic chiasma and go to the opposite side, that is to the left. Now same happens to the left eye, nasal hemiretina receiving visual field from the left and anything comes from left goes to the right. It means it has to cross over, so it will come down, but then instead of going on the same side, it is going to cross over to become contralateral and move backwards on the opposite side. Now temporal hemiretina of the left eye receiving visual information from the right visual field, well, anything from the right goes to the left, so these fibers will move backwards on the same side to become ipsilateral. So here one more thing to notice, that the fibers which are crossing are contralateral, and which are on the same side are called ipsilateral fibers. So now when the all retinal fibers reached to this area called lateral geniculate body or lateral geniculate nucleus, I want to tell that this lateral geniculate body has 6 layers of neurons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Why is it important to know? Because these ipsilateral and contralateral fibers are going to the layers as per their numbers. All the ipsilateral fibers within the lateral geniculate nucleus are going to the layers 2, 3 and 5, and contralateral fibers gonna make connections with layers 1, 4 and 6. Now they are going to come out of lateral geniculate nucleus, and there is two types of fibers. One is going to run through the temporal lobe and come to the occipital lobe, and another type of fibers move through the parietal lobe to come to the occipital lobe. Now what's the difference between these two? Actually they are different fibers. That one that are moving through the parietal lobe called superior retinal fibers and also called Baum's loop, and the one that are moving through the temporal lobe are the inferior retinal fibers and also called Mayer's loop. These set of fibers or optic radiations are going to the very specific area in the occipital lobe called striate cortex, which is basically primary visual cortex. This is where the perception of these visual stimuli become what we see. And how these fibers are arranged in visual cortex is one more important thing to remember. So look at this. Here you can see that the most center area or macular region located most posterior in the visual cortex, represented as number 1, 2 in right visual cortex and 3, 4 in left visual cortex. Then after that paramacular region anterior to that, and most peripheral region in the most anterior area. The whole concept of this you will better get understand when we'll discuss about the visual cortex lesions. Now one more important point to know, and that is knee of von Willebrand. What is this? To know that, look at here the optic chiasma. In the optic chiasma nasal fibers cross, but what happens here at the chiasma, that nasal fibers especially from the lower quadrant first go towards the optic nerve on the opposite side and make a loop there and then move backwards, and this loop is known as knee of von Willebrand. Now we know the structures taking part in visual pathway and the fibers arrangement, and the reason why this is important to know. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the lesions of the visual pathway. Thank you for watching.